Today's call, we have actress, brand ambassador, politician, artist, writer, style icon. Anarkalli Jay is up next. Hello, Anarkalli. How are you doing today?
Ayubowan. Hi, how are you? I'm doing so well. I'm so excited to be with you on the show. I've heard so much and I've been listening to a couple of episodes and I just can't wait to get into it.
We're going to have a lot of fun. And, Todd, Dave Meltzer, everybody has edified you, and I'm very excited for this episode. So let's start off with this to provide a little bit of context for the listeners, because obviously they don't know who you are.
No, they don't.
Give us the story on who you are, and that's probably going to take up the entire time because you have an amazing story. But we're gonna try and fit it in, and we're gonna dive down a bunch of rabbit holes along the way.
Oh my gosh. Okay, how do I summarize this? Well, I'm just a regular girl trying to do extraordinary things in this lifetime, this one lifetime that I'm here as myself, Anarkalli. I am an actress. I'm from Sri Lanka originally, and I've been living out here in the U.S. for the past 4 years. I acted in movies. I've acted in over 22 movies as the main lead. I was Miss Sri Lanka for Miss World 2004. I'm a humanitarian. I got into politics, becoming the youngest female politician in the history of my country at age 22. I had my own talk show for 12 years. Yeah, I've just been doing a lot, keeping busy.
That's all. I've been a politician. I have a talk show, and all of these other things, and all that was before 22. So to make the rest of the world feel like a bunch of has-beens or a bunch of lazy people. Tell us really. It is. It's very motivating, and it's amazing. Like an actress. Brand ambassador, politician, artist. Let's dive into artists. So dive into artists a little bit for us, because you left that one out.
Yeah, so I got into acting it's so funny because my parents are both in the film industry.
Mm-hmm.
They've worked in over 50 Hollywood movies. But I never wanted to be an actress, or I never aspired to be a star or anything like that. But I basically grew up on film sets. But I did have a love for the arts, and in school I would even audition for Pocahontas, things like that, and I would get cast as the butterfly or the tree.
Something
and so
that's
I thought,
not
okay, this
moving.
is not for me. Yeah. And basically it's weird because the opportunity that I did end up getting to enter the film industry was through school. My principal, recommended me to this amazing director and producer, and I starred as the main lead in the TV series, and just that was it.
It was game over.
It was game over. Thank my principal for believing in me.
and so growing up in this environment of having parents that are making Hollywood movies and on film sets, how does that kind of affect you as a child, realizing that my life isn't, air quote, normal?
Right. My parents always, we would always have movie stars at home and always be on film sets, and it was just an everyday occurrence that I sort of and my parents would never tell me, oh, this person's so famous, or, it became something that people do, like an everyday job.
It was normal.
Yeah. So it was I actually only really understood the magnitude of, an actor and actress when I became one and what it was. Because once I started acting and the TV series was on TV, I was 8 years old and I couldn't walk on the street anymore. People were looking at me, calling my
You were
name, and I'm like,
bombarded by the celebrityism.
yes, that was the only time I really
Hmm.
experienced the difference of being like a normal person
Yeah.
and like being in show business. But yeah, like my parents worked with Steven Spielberg and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, George Lucas, Bo Derek, like just like a bunch of like,
Okay.
stuff.
All right. We're gonna have to pause the podcast. We're gonna have parents make a few phone calls and get Mr. Star Wars and Mr. Indiana Jones on the call
Yes,
here because
yes,
what? Like
yeah,
so I mean that's the stuff I grew up watching as a kid, and like for me it was like, how are they making these things? They're so
right,
amazing. Right? It's like who as a kid, as a boy, right? Who didn't want
yes,
to be Luke Skywalker? Everybody
right,
wanted to be Luke Skywalker. It was like, I'm black, Japanese, he's white. I don't care. I'm Luke Skywalker. Like, you know what I mean?
right.
But so how did that really, because you became, for lack of better words, you became socially conditioned to
Yes,
accept this as your normal. But
exactly. It was so
subconsciously,
beautifully
you
put.
knew it wasn't normal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know about subconsciously because I just remember, like, even like before I was born, my mom said, like, before she went into labor, she was on a film set, and then like, so like when I was like a baby, my mom was still taking me on these film sets and stuff. But the difference was, I guess, we never were out with people. Like when we're on a set, we're sort of confined
Hmm.
to the crew and to the actors, so that became like
Your
normal life.
family.
But my parents, they did instill something in a different way, which made me think. She
Hmm.
always, like, my parents always told me, like, okay, this is work. And even though like there's music or there's dancing or it seems like everyone's having like a good time, because that's what it really looked like to me. Like some people hanging out, taking pictures, looking pretty. It didn't equal work to me. My parents kept telling me it is work. So it's like even to make something beautiful, work goes into it. And you have to give in order to get something beautiful. So
Yes.
when I sort of like started like acting or doing modeling and things like that, I always thought to myself, like, this is a blessing. I have been given an opportunity to give something
Okay.
to society, a creation. And I am just basically, even though essentially a director molds you, you too have to be in a certain state to allow someone to mold you or to create something. So, even up to now, like my parents always advise me about like, work and my consistency and always not to like aim for like the top movies all the time. It's just really being consistent and just always climbing up and doing something different because that's what people require.
I'm so glad that you said that. So I would love for you to dive a little more into the importance of being consistent, because for somebody that's listening, they're going to say, "Oh, well, yeah, of course she made it. She was
Right.
she was born into the life. She had this, she had that." They're going to come up with whatever excuse that they need to make themselves feel good because you had
Yeah.
it better. But that's not the
Yeah.
case, because your parents really put you in, they're like, yeah, no, this is our life,
Yeah.
your life is there,
Right.
you need to work to get to here, so work.
100%.
so
The funniest thing is, like,
explain
to
that.
date, of course, sorry, like, to date, the funniest thing is actually my parents still have not given me a project
I
done by
love
their
your
company.
parents. I
Like,
love your parents.
yeah, they still have not done that. They've not written a storyline for me. They haven't produced anything for me. They're like, no, this is your chosen career. You decided you want to be an actress. Okay, go do that.
Good
So, like,
luck.
it's funny because even though I got the opportunity from school and they decided to cast me, it's you can be given any opportunity in life, but the rest is up to you to keep it going. Specifically, I think a lot of young people today, because they're all now creators, right? You don't have to necessarily go to film school.
Yep.
You don't necessarily have to have like,
Everybody's a
A-list
CEO,
parents.
everybody's a designer, everybody's a this, everybody's a that.
Yeah,
Here's the news flash. The market will tell you whether you are or not.
exactly. Exactly. And you have to be in touch with people. You have to know who your audience is, and you need to identify your niche, what you're good
Humility.
at. Because a lot of people, like, they get something, like, for example, they get popular
Hmm.
doing something in particular, and then they're like, oh my God, I made it to the top. And then they stop doing that thing that made them successful,
Yep.
and then they immediately, without being consistent, do something different. And that kind of will create a lull in your career. You
Hmm.
can change, but you, for a certain period of time, till you've really captured your audience and established your identity, you can't do that. So I think that to all the youngsters out there who want to be successful actors, you really have to know your craft, what you're good at, and understand what the audience requires from you. And even if you do get an opportunity, never take it for granted because it can be taken away from you. Just keep going at it. You have to keep getting better and better. That's what the game is all about. It's a
It's
game.
it's all about work. Like you need to have the work ethic because if you're not going to work, then you don't deserve anything. Right? Like,
100%.
and so but along those lines, so being born and raised in such an amazing environment that people might assume, but for you that was normal, but you understood there was something a little different about you versus your classmates because like why don't my classmates have movie stars hanging out with them all the time? But so
Right.
what really drove it because your resume is so full. I mean, it's 5 lifetimes worth of careers, and which is an amazing thing. And so you
Thank you.
have actress, you have artist, politician. Where did that come in? How did that come in? And what really drove that? And really give us the full layout because a lot of people, one of my things that I try to push is you got to pursue what's going to make you happy. So
Yes.
if you're not happy doing what you're doing, I don't care if your parents tell you to do it. I don't care if it's expected of you. Are you happy? If you are not happy, change what you're doing.
Yes. Completely. I completely agree with you. I mean, to be really frank with you, I think this is like the best question of the day, and I'm really gonna tell you, just give it
Bring
all to
it.
you because I think that it's gonna be really helpful. People are gonna be shocked because in my country, believe it or not, we do not have agents, we do not have managers, we do not have proper acting schools, nothing. So when I got this opportunity to act at 8, and then after that I kept getting opportunities, and then when I hit 15, I was like, I really like what I'm doing. I think I want to make this my career. I actually created the brand or the actress, what I wanted to portray, who I was going to be, whether it
Mm-hmm.
was on the red carpet, like styling myself, or in my interviews, what would say, how I would carry myself. When I went for Miss Sri Lanka, I was like, okay, I'm going to be talking about this. This is what I'm going to represent. And then I wanted to do TV. I was like, oh, I love doing TV. I want to do a talk show because I love to, connect with people. I just kept creating things that made me happy. So it's exactly like what you're saying. I love giving and creating to my audience. I love people. I'm a people person. So all I did, and that's how I was successful, was I just kept creating, different realms for myself
Yeah.
to exist successfully. And it was well received. And a lot of people think that you have to have a support system, or you need to have, like, coaches, or all these things. I mean, all these things help 100%. I'm not trying to say that they're
Oh yeah.
not useful, but the best assistant that you could ever have, or the best guide, is yourself. You have
Yes.
to look into yourself, find out what makes you happy, really understand what you're good at, and then just go out and do it. If you think about it, if you start like saying, I can't do this, it's impossible, I don't have X, Y, and Z, you're the only person that's in your way,
I love it.
and
I
it's
love it.
all
I
up
love
here
it.
in the mind.
Yes. The most important thing is the two words that you said. The most important two words you said is do it. You can talk about
Yes.
it. You can think about it. You can plan for it. You can have every advisor in the world and every mentor in the world, or you can have sat your butt in a chair and Googled
Yep.
and YouTubed for hours and hours and hours. But unless you do it, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of people also think, because life is not so smooth. Everything doesn't always go right. And that's
Exactly.
okay.
So true.
It's supposed to have all those, twists and turns. And a lot of people think when they've been sort of like pushed back, or they've had some, terrible tragedy happen in their
Good.
life,
Good.
that they're doomed. They're not. It's an opportunity for you to make something go right, or make something go better for yourself.
Your best
'Cause you can't
opportunity,
always-
your
Yes.
best opportunity is in your
Yes.
darkest time. You think that
Yes.
you think that accident just happened? No. It's there to provide you an opportunity.
100,000%. It's
Like-
there to motivate you, to push you.
Yep.
Because a lot of people, like I was saying earlier, they look to their parents or their friends or their coworkers or their bosses to motivate them. But when you hit rock bottom, it's just you and confronting that obstacle, right? So, like, how do you confront it? How do you overcome it? That is victory.
You
It's an
talk to the
opportunity for you
person
to
in the
win.
mirror.
Yes. 100%.
Yep. Because when you hit rock bottom, the only person there with you is you.
Yes.
Because nobody else is there. When you're at your rock bottom, everybody's rock bottom is different. So when you're at your rock bottom, the only person there with you is you. Hopefully,
Yes.
you realize what you need to do and realize what you need to change before you hit rock bottom. Because I'm speaking from experience, rock bottom sucks. And it hurts. And it
It does.
hurts and hurts and hurts. You don't want to wait till you have to get to rock bottom. So hopefully you figure
No.
out things before you hit rock bottom. But if you
Yes.
are fortunate enough to hit rock bottom, because hitting rock bottom is a good thing. Doesn't feel like it though. But when you hit it, you really realize who you are.
Yes, you do. That is your moment to shine. And it's funny because, like you were saying, it really hurts. So I feel like that's a test too. Like, you should, like, even if it's not an emotional thing, even if you physically get hurt or sick, when you succumb to that pain, it gets worse.
Yep.
Because it's an emotional response. But we are so strong that we can move mountains, we can create technology, we can create different means to overcome anything in life. So how can you not be in control of your own emotions? it's just a piece of cake compared to everything else, that we have to manage to survive, you know?
I
I feel
love
like
it.
emotions sometimes become like this kind of a wall, an imaginary wall, and then it's just a figment of your imagination. You can break that, you know?
Yes.
You break that wall and just go, like we were just saying earlier, just go do it.
Yes, exactly. A lot of people they just spend so much time worrying about how they feel. Oh, I don't feel like doing this. Or even worse, worrying about how they feel.
Yeah,
Worrying about somebody else's reaction. But if I do this, they might. Who cares?
right?
Are they
Yeah.
paying your bills? Are they buying your food? Are
Mm-hmm.
they feeding your kids? Are they paying
Right.
your mortgage? If not,
Mm-hmm.
then who cares? Do you focus on doing you? Because there's a lot of, like, I understand. We as humans are good. For the majority
Yes.
and the masses, we are good. We are inherently good. Otherwise, we would have all killed each other off and there would be no human race. That's the truth. So we inherently are good. So if your focus is really trying to help people, then help people. But in order to truly be selfless, because in helping people, you're in, by definition, being selfless by helping
Right?
people. But in order to be selfless, you need to be selfish because
Yes.
I can't give to you what I don't have. So
Yes.
in order for me to give you love, I need to love myself and I love me. In order for me to
Yes.
care about you, I need to care about me. In order for me to want the best for you, I need to want the best for me. But people
Yes.
don't understand that. And based off of your reaction, you have a lot to say about it. So please, come on.
I 100% agree with everything you're saying. It's so cool that we're like talking about this. I feel like we're totally on the same page on a lot of things. 100% again, yeah, yeah. It's all about integrity. It's all about keeping in integrity, and it's about also being your best friend, being your own best friend. A lot of people look to others or other circumstances to be happy, but it really starts and ends with you. You have to love yourself. You have to value yourself.
Yes.
And a lot, if you really study like all the bad instances or, things you've had to face in life, they've actually occurred even though sometimes we like to blame somebody else. They've actually occurred to us when we have not been there for ourselves. We could have avoided those bad, incidents in life if we were just more considerate about ourselves. We wouldn't have to face such bad outcomes. A lot of people, I mean, there are some special circumstances where, yes, it is another party which is like 98%, at fault. But most of
Yeah.
the time, we also should take responsibility for our own actions because once you stop loving yourself or you lower your standards or you lose your integrity, you have lost everything. There's so many ways in life to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can become famous in this day and era, but you cannot give somebody or you cannot buy integrity. You have to create it, you have to secure it, and you have to value your integrity. Because
Yeah.
without it, you are nothing.
Absolutely. And so when you have the people, when it was like, oh, it's because of the second that you do that, you give the power to something or someone other than yourself. The second that you take
Yes.
responsibility, why am I unhappy? Because I made a bad decision. Sure,
Right.
that person did a whole lot of things, but whose decision was it to allow that person into my life? It was mine.
Yes.
100% on me.
Because we cannot control somebody else. We can only control our own actions. You can hope that somebody does the right thing, but that's about it.
This That is so true. I mean, it's so like, yeah, like this podcast is probably going to go for about like 5 hours because we are uh We are just on point. Like we're about ready to hurt people's brains on this thing. You know, like if this is what you think, just letting you know, we're going to destroy your brain on this podcast because everything you think is allowed, we're going to tell you you're an idiot. Yes, it is your fault. Everything happening in your life right now is your fault. And I will speak to that because, yes. So when I was 19 years old, driving home, and my dad died in a car accident. He was a police officer, and it was an instant death. Could I control that?
Sorry.
No, I could not. But I could control how I react to it. That's the point. Could I get mad?
100%.
Could I, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, are you in control of the external situations and circumstances? No, you're not. But you can control how you react to it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
You
so
can't let an incident define you.
yeah.
You
So
know?
if somebody is rude to you and somebody's calling you names and somebody speaks negatively about you, great. Tell them thank you. That's how they view themselves.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
you. Don't get it twisted.
Definitely.
Especially with
People
you
actively-
being in the limelight, you're being a celebrity, being an artist, being a politician, being a writer, being a style icon, being a brand ambassador, being an actress, being everything. Yes, I just read down the Rolodex. I was ready because I was like, I'm never gonna remember all of this. I don't know anybody that does this much stuff. But you know what I mean? But so you know what it's like dealing with haters. But you can't let them
Yes.
get to you. Because for every 2 people that say
Never.
something good about you, there are 20 people that have something bad to say.
I would never. I'm against this terminology, haters, because I feel like I've grown up with it like all my life, and like people's, opinions of me and
Yeah.
what they think I should have done or what they hope I had done or how I look or, so many things.
It's how they view themselves.
Right, but I'm against the terminology haters because I feel like they're not haters. I feel like they're interested people. Like they're interested in me.
Yep, I'm giving you,
They're not doing anything.
Explain.
They're not doing
Dive
anything
more
else
into
with
it.
their life.
They're sitting in their
an
grandma's
hour.
they're sitting in their grandma's basement. They're doing something.
Yeah. They're what they're doing is they're just obsessed with me. So they're taking their time.
Well, good
and
for
they're
you.
going, yeah, because they're not doing anything else. And I'm like, I just feel bad for them because in a weird way, even though they're trying to express hate, they're actually showing interest, right?
They're showing interest and they're showing a want, like I need some sort of attention. So in order for me to grab the attention, I'm going to, like, I've been trained that if I express negativity towards an icon, I'll get some sort of attention.
You nailed it. Specifically, if it's anything, if you study why people or who people particularly attack, they will always attack high-profile people.
Absolutely.
Or people who are successful. Because then they
get
feel like
attention.
that's the only way their brain is telling them, their reactive mind is telling them, the only way I can equate myself or align myself with someone successful is by bringing them down. Because then everyone's like, oh, who's saying this about this person? Let's read this, And like everything else good that someone's doing is kind of boring. Oh my God, yeah, it's another perfect story about X, Y, Z. Wait till something bad happens. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is what happened. So it's another story altogether. You should just never let people's opinion of you affect you. What's really important is that you know who you are. When you let someone hurt you or you get affected by, like you were saying, a hater, where I like to say someone is interested, I feel like
An interested hater.
Actually, you actually are like agreeing with them. The only reason you get hurt is if you agree with the part of what they're saying.
Then
But if
that's
you
on
know
you.
yourself, yeah,
Yep.
and if you know who you are, and then you really see what they're saying, you would not care. You'd be like, oh, okay, it's another day in being a celebrity, or another day in the life of being a kid, whatever it
Oh,
is. But
absolutely.
yeah, so you have to just really, be confident. And you should also understand that there are people out there who are not like you. And they are going to express their opinions, good
Thank
or bad.
God.
And you just have to like allow them to do that because the world is a huge place and it's huge for a reason for us all to have all kinds of people and just do you.
Be yourself. You are allowed to be yourself. If that's one of the things that I try to really speak, especially with my teenage daughter. It's
Yeah.
like stop trying to be them. Stop trying to. Don't worry about
Yes.
trying to be somebody else. You're not them.
Yes.
They're not you. If they tried on their best day, they could never be you. And if you tried on your best day, you could never be them. Do you want to know why?
Yes.
Because it's not supposed to be that way. You are meant to be you. So be you. That's why it's like, even for
Yes.
me, I have to catch myself as a dad because, of course, I'm like, you need to do this. But it's like, well, no. Like,
Uh-huh.
I think you should do it this way based off of my life experience, but I'm not you. So I don't know
Yes.
what's best for you. I know what I think will be best for you, but I don't know what's best for you. Why? Because I'm not you. And this is to my daughter.
Right.
It's like that's like
Yeah.
that. There's no barrier there. It's like, sure. So for me, it's like I will support what you want, and I think a lot of this comes down to the proper parenting and the proper, awareness of a situation. Is like what your parents did with you. It's like, hey, we created amazing life. We have a lot of amazing connections. But if
Yes.
you want to pursue this acting career, like, yes, I have Steven Spielberg's number in my phone, but you're not gonna have it.
No.
You can start
True.
from ground zero, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
got to be accountable.
and you have to earn your stripes and become who you need to be as a person.
Yes.
So
You
amazing.
always, I mean, it's like my mantra. I always say this. You have to be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else.
Love that. Love that. I'm gonna steal
You know,
that.
it's, yeah, take it. It's not mine. It's actually my
You stole it from
because I'm a
someone
very
else.
famous actress. It's just I practice it.
No, that's so true. And I know we're coming up on time here. This is such a phenomenal call, and I wish we could just keep on going forever, but I want to be respectful of your time. So please let everybody know, where can they find you? Where can they look you up? Instagram, your website, social media, anywhere, everywhere, movies.
Of course.
Here's your plug. Give everybody everything.
Aw. Oh, thank you. Okay, so over here in the US, I started like my own YouTube channel called Anarkalli Live, where it's a motivational channel where I interview really successful people and I, just tell their untold story or their, enhance on their told stories of how they became successful. So you can go to YouTube and type Anarkalli Live and you can find me there. Or on Instagram, it's at Anarkalli. So it's at ANARKALLI. And yeah, those are the two best ways to get in touch with me. And I absolutely had the best time with you on this call. We should definitely do this more often. And yeah, maybe actually, like, I would love to meet you and your family too. That would be so much of fun. We should totally keep in touch.
We are definitely going to be doing this again. I have a feeling we'll probably be doing this. Let's do this. Let's do a monthly call. I feel like we need to do a monthly call because we like barely touched on a lot of topics, and I think we could have a lot of fun diving into these topics and just really change people's lives. And so I love that.
Yes,
but
let's do it.
Yes, we'll stay on after this, and we're going to get all this figured out. But thank you again so much for your time. and we are going to have you on
Thank you for
again
having
soon.
me.
Yes.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the podcast. I know a bunch of you haven't subscribed yet. Also, don't forget to follow me on social. You can look me up, The Real Jeff Bill. Also on Instagram, we have our Blast Talks podcast page. Make sure you subscribe and follow both of those accounts to make sure you're staying up to date on all the new content, all that fun stuff. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.